Nothing prizes us more than while we travel across the developed country like Singapore, Japan or England and walking through some luxurious shopping mall and watching those posh and branded clothing stores like H&M and Zara Basic, hang with the tag name made in Bangladesh. Here, I am Nusrat Wahid, Assistant Professor in the Department of Architecture at Ahsanullah University of Science and Technology, Dhaka, Bangladesh, presenting my paper on an overview of present living condition of migrant RMG workers in Gazipur, Dhaka, Bangladesh and Shenzhen, China. And this is my privilege to present my paper at International Conference of Contemporary Affairs in Architecture and Urbanism, Turkey. Yes, today I am going to talk about this apparel sector which made our country prominent to the world. This reputation did not happen in a day. It took more than 35 years to reach, and today Bangladesh is the second largest apparel exporter of the world after China, even leaving behind Vietnam and India. It has become the blood economy of Bangladesh. The reason behind blooming this economy are manpower, low labor cost, supportive government, quota fee status, flexible export-import policy, and low interest rates. Another important reason is the availability of poor migrant women labor. These poor, hardly educated, vulnerable, socially deprived village women found this RMG sector as an opportunity to work independently and improve their socio-economic lives. Therefore, 80% of the production workers are women. The megacity Dhaka, which is the capital of Bangladesh, also known as the 10th largest urban agglomeration and second fastest growing populous city in the world. UNDP Bangladesh reported that over 17.4 million people reside in Dhaka and more are moving in every day. To tackle with the situation and to avoid hazards and congestion, a lot of measures have been taken. Shifting and relocation of industries are one of them. Here the relocation and extension areas are located on the two poles of Dhaka city, north side extending from Dhaka up to Tongi, Gazipur and Savar, and south part in Narayanganj to export processing zone and non-EPZ respectively. As industrialization leads to vast urbanization, and this consequently leads to greater housing needs of the workers. Here in Bangladesh, the requirements for worker housing has always been overlooked for years. Therefore, there is hardly any standard rules and regulations for workers' housing needs from both the government and Bangladesh Export Processing Authority (BEPSA). In most cases, the poor migrant workers find their nearby rentable accommodation by themselves and with the help of local workers. Additionally, both the landlords and farmers take this lucrative opportunity to rent their part of houses and farms to the workers at a high price without fulfilling the minimum standard of living. As a result, many farmlands, greeneries and open spaces are being demolished to cope with the high demand for worker housing needs. Two factories, one named Silk and Sewing Limited at Bhabanipur, Gazipur and another Essential Clothing at Mouchak of Gazipur were taken as case study sites situated at the heart of Gazipur. Those rentable workers' houses about 10 to 30 minutes walking distance from these workplaces were surveyed for this research. Furthermore, Shenzhen China factory workers' housing has been reviewed here with the help of secondary data and resources to understand the global context. This paper investigates the present scenario of RMG workers rentable housing at Gazipur, Dhaka. Here the research in management and business studies indicated the chronological development in R&D sector since 1983 to 2014. In the chart, 13 important factors of workers' satisfaction towards R&D industry in Gazipur, Dhaka, which included working hours, holidays, wages, medical services, housing facilities and so on. The indicators showed that the workers are not satisfied with the housing facilities comparing to other facilities. However, some of the foreign buyers highly focus on the living condition of the workers, highlighting on living wages for them. Bangladesh, as the delta is plain, has been experiencing enormous changes in land, landscape and water channels due to annual heavy rainfall, flood and sometimes river erosion through ages. Therefore, human settlement for the rural people had always been challenging and non-permanent. Due to the availability of soil, most of the rural people live in traditional mud houses, which is a distinctive indigenous character of rural Bangladesh. To assess the present scenario of the housing condition of migrant factory workers at Gazipur, it is essential to understand the basic feature of traditional rural mud house. A traditional rural mud house can be described as a cluster of huts organized around a central courtyard locally known as uthan. The specific parts of the huts such as Baithak Ghar or outer house placed at the north are demonstrated for outside main people. The inner house or living zone at the south side is for women and landlord. Other ancillary parts of the houses like kitchen, toilet, bath and poultry are set at the west part apart from the house to get away from odor and cleanliness. The essential part, the central courtyard, has been always used for better circulation, recreation, household and other farm-related activities like rice or cereal husking, drying of jute fiber and so on. This is a very vernacular, fundamental and indigenous concept of house structure in rural Bangladesh and had been practiced generation to generation. From the survey, it was found that there were 4 types of transformed rural houses that evolved from the workers' housing need at Gazipur. For example, Type A house form is similar to a traditional rural house form. It is arranged around a central courtyard, which is a communal space and beneficial for outdoor activities such as drying clothes and food, outdoor sitting, feeding poultry and so on. Other ancillary parts of the houses were transformed to ensure workers' accommodation. Each rentable house of 12 feet by 12 feet dimension was placed in a row with attached toilet and bath and a small kitchenette with gas stove facilities placed in 5 feet wide veranda. This type of house was permanently built with 5 inches clay burn brick wall, cemented floor and sheer sheet roofing. RCC beam and column structural system was adopted here. Type B was almost similar to Type A, permanently built with protected iron grill veranda. The only difference was toilet and bath area are commonly placed at the junction of L-shaped row housing. Uninterrupted continuous veranda provided enough ventilation and shading for the unit houses during summer. This type C had a similar central courtyard like Type A and B, providing ventilation and sunlight inside the houses. This type was built as a semi-permanent structure with flexible walls, but due to the absence of continuous veranda in front of the cluster row houses, there was no privacy for the family. Temporary built common kitchen, toilet and baths all were built separately, which reflects very poor privacy and hygiene, especially for the female workers. In reality, the cost of these houses becomes very high depending on the size of the room and other civic facilities placed at close proximity such as arterial road, factories, local grocery market, school, mosque, medical services and so on. Finally, type D was found everywhere at Gazipur in comparison to the other types, because this type does not have any internal courtyard and it was easily buildable at any side of nearby houses, narrow roads, vegetation or open field or ditch areas. These units of the houses are placed in a row, each attached with a common veranda. The front and end of the veranda terminated with kitchen, common toilet and bath facilities. Now I will talk about Shenzhen at Pearl River Delta, South China. Shenzhen is considered the world's largest factory town. The manufacturers of garments, electronic items, toys, hardware, plastics and so on. It holds almost 20 million workforces. Transforming from a simple fishing village to a large metropolis, the economic boom faced rapid urbanization and as a result the inner zone of Shenzhen, which is recognized as Shenzhen Special Economic Zone. Therefore, most agricultural land turned into residential, commercial, industrial and business zones, and the villages turned into urban villages defined by the scholar. These urban villages are affordable places for a large group of underprivileged migrant workers who face difficulties finding a home in a lower price. Shenzhen alone has more than 10 million migrant workers and 5 million workers are currently living in more than 320 urban villages. They prefer to live in these affordable urban villages rather than regimental factory-provided dormitories because these places are familiar to them with the village-like services such as small food shop, stores, shopping, gathering and various mixed-use services that promote street activities, allow local people to fulfill their daily needs. Dafen village is one of the most famous urban villages in China for its unique characteristics, known as Artist Painter's Village to the World Tourist Map, located at Longgang district of Shenzhen. Now the village produces 60% of the oil paintings. It also produces and sells Chinese painting, calligraphy, art, sculpture and so on, with more than 800 galleries and 10,000 artists in Dafen's 0.4 square kilometer area. The migrant workers often choose these urban villages rather than factory dormitories because these narrow-alleyed 4 to 6-storied limited rentable houses offer different kind of shops, restaurants and other facilities as a vital mixed use to the closest proximity, and above all, it gives a sense of intimacy within local and human scale. The outer zone of Shenzhen contains two districts, Baon and Longgang, which are 4 times larger than the inner district. Shenzhen contain mostly industries and dormitories for workers. From the book Photographs Shenzhen Workers Speak, it portrays the living environment in the factory dorms of Shenzhen, China. The book describes the living photos and interviews of those migrant workers who flocked from all over China to Shenzhen to fulfill their dreams to get rid of poverty-stricken life. The dormitory photo depicted the difficult and poor conditions in a limited space shared by 4 to 6 workers in one room. Living in a restricted machine-like factory environment, low wages, lack of intimate social and cultural space leads to isolation, dependency on co-workers. Of all these declared their youth buried in these factories. The book Factory Towns of South China depicted the Shenzhen 5 to 6 storied walk-up prototype design dormitory rooms, each approximately 30 to 35 square meters, accommodating 4 to 6 persons, arranged in a row, attached by a continuous long corridor where the workers dry their clothes and food. Other common facilities such as canteen, kitchen and common rooms were placed at the ground level. Finally, from all those case studies of Gazipur RMG workers housing, it is observed that although very few of spontaneous rental housing for workers of Gazipur are in favorable position regarding internal courtyard, privacy, accessibility, permanency, utility services and so on. However, it is not so far if the government, factory owners, local authority do not take this matter into account for workers' housing provision. The situation may go worse in future than the situation of Tongi right now. Here the aerial view shows the difference of density of workers' housing between Gazipur and Tongi. The picture depicts how densely and poorly built housing for the workers exuberated the whole land area of Tongi, with no open field or greeneries for breathing and communal living. The situation describes a very poor and unhealthy living condition of the factory workers regarding accessibility, density, privacy, utility services, fire hazards, and so on. These are the significant challenges for such promising industry. From the study of Shenzhen, it is observed that Shenzhen urban villages have their own identity, physical attributes and cultural values. Each village offers a variety of experiences that coincide with the lives of migrant workers in village. These villages are integrated, sensible, adjustable, compatible with the adverse situation and welcome all sorts of distressed and unprivileged migrant people around China who flock together to change their socio-economic conditions. Barrier-free accessibility to all services such as retail, shopping, trading and working, pedestrian-friendly safe environment, mixed land use pattern in human scale provide a sense of inclusive social cohesion which offers such places vital and livable ones. On the other hand, homogeneously built dormitories in outer Shenzhen fulfilled workers' housing needs, but inclusive integrated design solution considering a human's social, psychological and social comfort remained absent, which were observed through the study from those dormitories. Such regimental prototype dormitories are merely not be the only solution for the workers' living. New resolutions should be generated and exercised for the justice of all humankind. Is there any possibility for the factories workers' housing development? Yes, of course there are some possibilities. Integrated contextual layout design and adopt pragmatic planning policy with the help of government and non-government agencies to generate and advocate affordable, compatible and sustainable housing program for the workers which would fulfill the necessities of a citizen, not as a worker. Human scale environment, physical accessibility, pedestrian-friendly neighborhood network, safe environment, mixed land use development. Inclusiveness offers a sense of belonging, an amalgamation of all kinds of regarding historical, social, cultural, religious and moral issues, acceptance, accessibility, privacy, flexibility, interdependency and independency of ethnicity. Waste management by recycling and uses of renewable energy for long-term sustainable development. R&D industry being the backbone of Bangladesh economy, there is no alternatives to implement and advocate strategic planning and accessible housing designed for the workers to foster this sector for a long-term vision. Now, the government as well as the factory owners are in welcoming approach to housing problem solution. This would be definitely a social justice for them if we can offer a better housing, which is the primary need of social reform to achieve a standard living, a high sense of belonging, worker satisfaction and furthermore success for the whole nation. Thank you very much. I wish to thank you all to give me the opportunity to describe my paper in such pandemic situation. Please stay at home, stay safe. Thank you again.